mild 9. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a light breeze with a low near 29. And tomorrow, more sunshine and a little breezy. See a high around 65. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up.
Hold up, the new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Mosaic is a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that embraces God's call and relentlessly pursues opportunities that empower people with diverse needs to live their best lives. Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska, serving Lincoln and Beatrice, would like to invite you to their monthly Discover the Possibilities tour events. Events are held on the third Wednesday of every month and are a great way to understand Mosaic's mission. To RSVP, please contact Melindy at 402-429-0088 or visit mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Well, it is On the Block. I'm Austin, joined by Nick. We're just keeping the party going here. If you have any names of former Huskers, can be any sport. Like, I think we're really in the basketball mindset right now. Oh, it's the wrong mic on. Let's try
There
this
you go.
one. Hey,
There
there's
I am.
Nick. Hello, Nick. Sorry, that's on me.
That's all right.
So yeah, any former Husker basketball players that come to mind? Baseball players. Nick threw out a couple really good names we'll get to here in a sec. If that's all the next 90 minutes is, I will consider this show a rousing success. It is Friday. I want to thank Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. They're open today through the weekend. And I feel kind of spoiled here on this show because Mary Ellen sponsors the show, had them at our last staff meeting. It was absolutely fantastic. It's Good Sense Friday here, so big thanks to our friends at Good Sense. Check them out, a couple Lincoln locations for that. Going back to Monday and Tuesday, our guy Delco Dave coming through with the Phillies and the tacos, and most importantly, the citrus coolers.
You're a big citrus cooler guy.
Or cactus cooler.
Cactus cooler.
Cactus.
Yeah. Did you know, prior to Delco Dave, did you know about the cactus cooler? Neither did I.
No.
Neither did I.
Well, because he said they're like some West Coast import of some sort. It's awesome. So, Delco Dave, if you're listening, I'm going to make this promise for me and Nick. We have 6 segments per show, and there are 12 cans in a 12 pack. So Nick and I will drink a cactus cooler.
We are going to get so large. We are going to get so large.
Bring an On the Block specific pack of cactus coolers. No. We'll do that sometime next week.
No, I will agree to one day. I would, if you will agree to it, I would. I would agree to doing it one day.
Yes, just one day. That's all it takes to get through a 12 pack.
One cactus cooler per show,
per segment,
for
a day.
Oh my gosh!
So Delco Dave, if you're listening,
we gotta check the sodium and the sugar. Oh man, Yeah, it's bad. That is going to be so gross.
It will be.
I mean, because they're so delicious.
They are.
Can I
orange pineapple?
Can I switch it up with like a birch beer?
Ooh, sure. It's allowed.
Okay,
it's allowed.
Okay, we can go back and forth between birch beer, which is root beer,
yeah,
and cactus cooler.
It just can't be on a Thursday. Sorry, Uncle Ken. I wouldn't be able to partake.
Gosh, yeah, that would be so much liquid. Oh, the stomach is
it's
not
going to be a couple one-person segments. It's going to be alternating bathroom breaks.
It's going to be just us by the 3:45. Jay's going to come in for the crossover, and it's just going to be us going. That's all it's going to be. Swift from Lincoln says, "I enjoying the guys naming dudes segment." We love it.
That's so what we're here for.
It is fun to go down memory lane.
We got to vote for a Christopher Neiman. That's in there.
So
I'm not gonna read the rest of the text. Things got unfair to the guy.
Craig, it's hilarious. The text is one of the best that I think. That one might go on Twitter with us. I'll just cross the name out.
Yeah,
I'll just cross the name of the player out and post it on Twitter. And because the description of what he did is so funny. Nice job, Craig.
Well done. Do you want to name your Husker baseball guys? Because I think they're actually pretty incredible polls.
Yeah. Okay. So I was looking up, like we were talking that college baseball needs a sports reference page. For baseball, you kind of just have to go back to like the Husker roster on Huskers.com to think of some of these. The ones that I instantly thought of were Cash Kalkowski, who was a shortstop for Nebraska. You had, this is like the Mike Anderson days.
Yeah.
So it was Cash Kalkowski. You also had Rich Sanguinetti in center field.
Sanguinetti.
Number 11 for the Huskers in center field, or just outfielder, I guess. And then at second base for Nebraska back in the baseball days was Pat Kelly. Pat Kelly played some second base and actually spent some time in the Minnesota Twins organization. Back when I was playing youth baseball, we had a trip, like our nationals tournament was in the riveting city of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And so we made the trip to Cedar Rapids, which is also the home of the single A affiliate for the Minnesota Twins, the Cedar Rapids Colonels. And we ended up going to a Cedar Rapids Colonels game that weekend. And Pat Kelly was the starting second baseman for the Cedar Rapids Colonels at the time. Now he's out of the minors and doing just probably normal stuff. But so that was kind of fascinating. I'm trying to think of some more. Chad Christensen was also in the days. I'm trying to think of like some pitchers.
A more recent one for me would be Ben Miller.
Ben Miller was a first baseman.
Is Mojo going to be that guy in a couple years?
I don't know. Mojo was here for a long time and played some significant time. Maybe a home state kind of guy from Omaha, because I think he went to West Side, right?
No, he went to Scott. Mojo
right.
Let me tell this story.
Okay.
Senior year, we're in the district final playing Scott up at Scott. Got pushed back a day due to rain, so I've never seen a place pour gasoline on their infield dirt to dry it out.
Wow.
I witnessed this with my own eyes. Scott pouring gasoline on their infield dirt and then taking like a little blowtorch to dry off their infield. It was incredible.
Is amazing.
It was so metal. It was so cool.
Oh,
anyways,
here's one.
Go ahead. That was on Friday, so it's like a Thursday game. It got pushed to Friday. Missed my band concert. Sorry about that, Mr. Warner. But it's district baseball. We're up. I had a 2 RBI single in the third inning. Okay, so we're up 2-0. So that's probably the peak of my athletic career.
How about this?
Change up, lace the first pitch, change up right back up the middle. 2 RBI single.
Yeah.
We're up 2-0. Bases get loaded with 2 outs, and Mojo comes to the plate. I think we played him earlier in the year, or had played him in years previous, and we shifted over. So I was like 10 feet off of like second base, a straight line from second base. The one time in his career against me, Mojo goes oppo, clears the bases with a double right down the left field line.
No.
We end up losing that one 5-2. They go to state, and I think they were like runner-up that year or something. So
dang, that's
I've never liked Mojo Hagee for that reason, but I can respect his contributions to Nebraska baseball.
Okay, well, nice. There you go. Okay, so a couple other ones. I'm looking at the 2012 roster.
Okay,
this was prime Nick growing up. This is the team. So one of the other names, this guy was an outfielder from Creighton Prep High School. He was drafted by the Cardinals.
There you go, Kenny Wilhite, if you're still listening.
Yeah. Kenny K-Dub DM'd both of us, told us to stop talking trash on the St. Louis Cardinals.
Neither of us like your Cardinals, Kenny.
I'll be honest here, and I'll say the tweet or what I texted him back. I said, Kenny, man, my man, the Cubs have that division locked up. You guys can keep spending that money for less than 80 wins. That's exactly what I texted Kenny Wilhite back. Now here's the thing. So this guy from Creighton Prep, 6 feet tall, 177 pounds, wore number 4 for the Huskers. Michael Pritchard. Michael Pritchard was a guy that I kind of forgot about. Hit from the left-handed side, if I remember correctly. This was also a team with Chad, Cash. I mean, all the guys I just named. This is the team I remember. Chad Christensen, Cash Kalkowski, Pritchard, Pat Kelly, Rich Sanguinetti. Also on this team, Aaron Bummer was a freshman. Out of where? Do you remember where Bummer is from?
It's a bummer that I don't remember.
It is Frisco, Texas.
There you go. Yep.
We have, let's see, Tyler Niederklein.
Jeff Tezak.
Yes. Also on this team, Austin Darby was a freshman. Former Salt Dogs player.
Right.
Austin Darby was on this team. Ty Kildow was he also here? Kyle Kubat was a freshman from Creighton Prep High School this season. So you want to talk about memory lane. There you go. Just dang, Husker baseball. That was fun. Those were fun days. And then you got into where I think this would be the Erstad years. Tanner Lubach was on this team.
Like a Blake Headley.
Oh, Blake Headley. Do you remember who he was drafted by?
I should.
The Chicago Cubs in the 22nd round. Blake Headley, I believe, in the 22nd round.
Cody Ashe made it to the majors.
Cody Ashe did make it to the majors. Still comes back, or now he's a hitting coach in the major leagues. Comes back and actually still does just hits on the side. And the only reason I know that is because he comes to the facility sometimes. Jake Plasek. Was one. How about this one? This is a guy that I really was bummed when he ended up going pro a year early. He was center field.
Ryan Bolt?
Yes.
Yep.
He got drafted in the 2nd round by the Tampa Bay Rays, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Like the 51st overall pick. I hold on. I'm curious if I got that on the nose. Ryan Bolt, baseball. Now, so let's see. Ryan Bolt was drafted 2nd round, 53rd overall.
Nice.
So I was close. Ryan Bolt, he was a switch hitter, if I remember correctly. Or maybe he threw right, left.
He batted left.
Yeah, he batted left. He threw right from center field. Ryan Bolt was drafted to the Tampa Bay Rays organization.
Corey Schleppenbach?
Yep. There was also Jake Schleppenbach.
Yep.
Because those are Pius
I
guys.
remember Jake. Yeah.
I remember Jake as well. Jake was one that came from Hutchinson Community College.
That sounds right. I'm pretty sure.
Jake Schleppenbach came from Hutch and was at Nebraska. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Let's see. Now we're getting to more recent guys. Josh Hader.
He was at Hutch.
Was at Hutch.
Rader.
Josh Rader, not Hader.
One of my buddies worked out with him for a while.
There you go. Josh Rader was also on there. Chance Sinclair is one that I remember from that team.
I'm going to throw a couple what ifs out there because they never actually took the field for Nebraska, but Monty Harrison and Bubba Starling.
Yeah, Bubba Starling would have been fun.
Bubba ended up playing his 3rd sport semi-professionally.
You could also say Jackson Reitz in that one. Like I think Reitz could have done some things at the college level. Now he got drafted in the 3rd round. Yeah, he got drafted in the 3rd round by the Nats. But I think things could have happened. I think he would have been somebody big for Nebraska. Lubach was a really, really strong one behind the dish for.
Was Lubach the one that hit that home run against Indiana
in target field?
Yeah.
Yep. In extra innings. That was a big one over the left field wall. Yeah, Tanner Lubach was fun. He was also just a steady guy behind the dish for Nebraska. I'm trying to think of some other names.
The one that fits in the Ryan Bolt category for me, maybe a little more recently, is Aaron Polensky.
Aaron Polensky,
if
certainly.
That next year's team has Aaron Polensky, I don't think it goes the same way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you could also say the same thing about like Jake Myers.
Yeah.
Right. I would be interested if Nebraska could have gotten one more year out of Jake Myers. You know, now he's made it to actually the majors pretty consistently. I think he's now to the point where he's firmly up there.
Yeah, he's up there. He's kind of a rotational platoon bench guy, but
especially with the way Kyle Tucker has come on that outfield.
Well, Jake's in center.
I know Jake's in center, but I'm saying just in general, that's shifted some guys around. I'm sure behind even like Tucker to move over. I don't have a.
It's more like Chas McCormick.
Yeah,
that guy.
Yeah. So, those are some of the names. I mean, like there's always going to be the pitchers that kind of I remind myself of. Austin Christensen was one. Colby Gomez, unfortunately, just had arm injuries. Chad Linsman, the same way. He tore his ACL going in.
Ben Klinke.
Yeah, there's Klinke. Colton Howell had a nice year or had a nice career.
Was Linsman too good to be one of those guys?
In terms of, what do you mean too good to be one of those guys?
Like Chad Linsman was the closer, and I feel like is he too big a name to be one of those guys?
Yeah,
I think he is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. More recently, so I'm looking at this is 2016. You had Steven Raveles.
Oh, Raveles, yep.
Yeah, you had Raveles. You had Jesse Wilkening. I was a freshman this year. Scott Schreiber.
Mr. Punch a single through the right side, Jesse Wilkening.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Jesse Wilkening from Cedar Lake, Indiana. We also had Scott Schreiber. Angelo Altavilla was a freshman. Nate Fisher from UTAN.
Never forget Angelo Altavilla trying to fight Michigan's entire team.
That's
right.
That's
his lasting legacy in Nebraska, in my opinion.
So what would it be? Who's the American Association team for Sioux Falls?
The Canaries.
Sioux Falls Canaries. When the Sioux Falls Canaries came to Nebraska, or excuse me, came to the Lincoln Salt Dogs, I had a conversation with Angelo Altavilla. And I took a video of it and I recorded it. And I think I posted it on my Twitter way back when. And he was standing in the on deck circle and he turned around. And I said something about I was like, go big red, Angelo, or something like that. And he just said, go big MFing red. And that's all he said.
That's
incredible. And he turned around. I was like, all right, well, you're playing for Sioux Falls. You're back on the field, but here you are. This is what you're doing. So
that's incredible. Any final names before we take a break?
Hold on, let me look through one more. Let me look through 2018. Just 2018 here. 2018. This would be fun. Joe Acker.
Joe.
Okay, a couple names. Roscom. Let's see. Gunnar Hellstrom.
Gunner's going to be one of those guys.
Yeah, Gunnar Hellstrom's going to be one of those guys. Robbie Palkert.
Ooh,
Max Schreiber.
Yep.
Yeah. Byron Hood was one that's also disappointing. Didn't work out better.
I also feel like Chance Roach is going to be one of those guys. Because everyone's going to remember Povich.
Yeah.
But they're not going to remember Chance Roach.
What a great start to his career for Cade Povich.
He's been traded so many times, but people value him that highly.
So Cade Povich, he's with the Twins now. He got drafted by the Orioles. Traded to the Twins. Or excuse me, no, drafted by the Twins, traded to the Orioles.
Yeah,
flipped it around.
Yeah.
And he was drafted in the third round in 2021 by the Twins, third round, 98th overall. In his minor league career, a 4.6 ERA, and 250 innings pitched. So it's not bad. He's had some really nice performances, especially his rookie year, or his first season in the minors. But you want to talk about this? Oh, how about this? He actually pitched for the Cedar Rapids Colonels for a while.
Hey, there you go.
So the Colonels still are there. He was part of that Jorge Lopez deal at the deadline.
That's right.
I forgot about that. He was the deal. He was in that deal for Jorge Lopez, who was one of the bigger names on the
Orioles.
Yeah, on the Orioles and on that trade deadline. So, all right. Cool.
That was fun. Let's take a break. We'll talk a little bit about Husker baseball's series opening win against Grand Canyon. A couple things stood out to me. I'll get Nick's thoughts to wrap up hour one of On the Block here in just a sec.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine. It will be breezy but mild. We'll see an afternoon high of around 59. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a light breeze with a low near 29. And tomorrow, more sunshine, again a little breezy. See a high around 65. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mosaic is a nonprofit, whole-person healthcare organization that embraces God's call and relentlessly pursues opportunities that empower people with diverse needs to live their best lives. Mosaic in Southeast Nebraska, serving Lincoln and Beatrice, would like to invite you to their monthly Discover the Possibilities tour events. Events are held on the third Wednesday of every month and are a great way to understand Mosaic's mission. To RSVP, please contact Melindy at 402-429-0088 or visit mosaicinfo.org/Southeast Nebraska.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hello, everybody. It's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I hear that new Honda manufacturing continues to go up, and you have new Hondas in stock now.
That's correct, Charlie. We have more than 40 new Hondas in stock right now. It's great that a customer can come in and buy a new Honda and drive it home that day. New Honda inventory keeps getting better each month.
Okay, then. How about used cars, Andy?
We have more than 100 pre-owned vehicles to choose from right now, and a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in daily. We have just about every maker model you can imagine in any price range.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
K9 Design in Lincoln reminds drivers to drive with the 3 C's of safety: caution, courtesy, and common sense. When a car hits a car, it's an accident. When a car hits a child, it's a tragedy. Safe driving is every driver's responsibility. K9 Design offers quality dog grooming and retail store for your fur baby. Set up an appointment at 402-465-8760. They're located at 1401 North 56th Street. The staff at K9 Design cares about the safety of your 2-leg and 4-leg kids.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Putting a bow on hour one of On the Block. Austin Norman, Nick Sainer with you.
Talked about a lot.
We are. We're going to continue to talk about a lot.
Talked about a lot.
I want to throw this to you guys. You have 5-10 minutes or so to get these responses in. What's a Nebraska athletics moment that just lives rent-free in your head? Positive or negative? So just a Husker athletics moment that you go to, whether it's positive or negative, any sport. We're done remembering dudes. Actually, we're never done just remembering dudes. This is kind of what we do here. But we're going to go to moments now. So what are those Husker athletic moments that live rent-free in your head? Any sport. We'll get to those to start next hour.
Most of them will be negative.
Yeah, that's kind of where our heads were at during the break. Husker softball at the Mary Nutter Classic down in Cathedral City falls 3-2 to San Diego State in extra innings. Big bummer there for the softball team, 6-4 in the season now. And hey, in just a few minutes, first pitch against number 19 UCLA and Tom Brady's niece Maya Brady, who is very good at softball.
Very good at softball. I'll ask you this: where should the expectations for Nebraska softball be?
Still make a regional.
Maybe not host one.
Yeah.
I think you were pretty confident in hosting one before.
Can you get to a 2 or are you going to be a 3 in a regional?
It goes back to that same conversation of like, can the Big Ten have enough successful teams to give yourself respect?
Northwestern Michigan got to step up.
Yeah, and like it's Northwestern. I think Indiana's pretty good this year in softball, if I remember correctly. Or I might be getting that mixed up with women's basketball. I know they're good in women's basketball.
Just beat Caitlin Clark last night.
They did. They stomped Iowa. And there was also a video of an Indiana player stomping Caitlin Clark. So I didn't mean it when I said that, but there you go. I think it's just tough to look at it when it's when you're just in the Big Ten conference. And it goes back to that same conversation of like, I just hope you figure out a way to schedule schedule conference games early in the season. And just the whole Tony Petitti having a Major League Baseball background, I just think benefits the conference more than people realize.
Baseball and softball.
Yeah, for both. Whether that's, I also think like at some point, and as we transition to baseball here, at some point, not having unlimited scholarships, but having more than 11.7, I think would be beneficial for Big Ten programs. NIL, like that's where Nebraska, like we talk so often about how it might be bad at Nebraska just for lack of national respect, but at least it's not like a Michigan State or a Penn State. I mean, you look at the Big Ten on the baseball front and people don't care.
Even Illinois.
Yeah. People just don't care. Rutgers had Todd Frazier as one of their alums, and not many people really pay attention. And so, unless they have that 40-win season. Right. And so I think there's some things that we talk about how bad it is, just involving and surrounding Nebraska. Like Nebraska has it as good as anyone, if not the best out of anyone in the Big Ten, because people actually care. And the athletic department invests in the baseball program. It still just doesn't really give them a whole lot of notoriety nationally.
It really doesn't. On Husker baseball, they do get the win last night, 7-2 over Grand Canyon. Two things really stood out to me. Like, first of all, Drew Christo obviously shoved 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, only the 1 run allowed. Great sign from the Elkhorn product. But on the offense, 7 runs is a good sign. Huskers had scored 4, 3, and then 6 in the loss to Oklahoma. But Nick, we've talked about how this team isn't going to be a big power hitting team like last year.
Yeah.
Which, when I see the extra base hits from last night, you see Tyler Stone, Oppo gap double, Oppo home run. You see Case Sanderson, opposite field triple. Josh Caron's triple that turned into the triple at the air to send him home, dead up the middle. If Nebraska's not going to be a power hitting team, I love the guys sitting back, going gap to gap approach and not trying to swing out of their shoes and pull the ball to try to generate power.
Yeah, it's use all areas of the field, right? That's what it is. And Nebraska needs to be balanced like that, especially in these next 3 weeks. They're something that's not getting discussed enough. Just overall is the fact that with Overbeek out for 3 weeks or so with a broken finger, that's pretty big. He was statistically one of the better hitters.
5 for 12 opening weekend.
Yeah, in the opening weekend down in Dallas against really good competition. So I don't know for sure off the top of my head when Nebraska starts their home stretch, but usually it's like March 9th or somewhere around there.
First home game for Nebraska will be against South Alabama on March 8th.
For March 8th. Okay, perfect. So, I mean, he won't be back by then. Well, I guess that would be about 3 weeks. So maybe Overbeek can be back by the home opener, but you're going to face obviously
on the road at Wichita, maybe.
Yeah, Grand Canyon. Then you'll have some midweek performances. And going back to Drew Christo, that's a big one. Austin, just because he's been a guy that's just struggled sometimes to carve out a consistent role, even though I know he allowed a run or two against the opening weekend competition, or Christo struggled a little bit with location and control of his pitches, but he was able to throw and had some good velocity on his throws. And now you have this second performance. You hope that he can be that midweek guy, because while Nebraska's weekend rotation isn't set, and Will Bolt's mentioned that and been honest about that, I think Christo fits really well in that midweek start role, where maybe he can get you four consistently, but maybe even sneak out 5 or 6 some nights.
He went 6 last night, allowed 7 hits, only 1 walk, which is good. Didn't hit a batter, which is good. 4 strikeouts. But here's the thing that's most encouraging to me. It's 2-part. Number 1, 7 ground ball outs.
Yeah.
That's huge for a guy like Drew Christo, who has strikeout stuff to trust his defense. Having more ground ball outs than flyouts is a big deal. And only 86 pitches. Over 6 innings, that's
Efficient.
14 pitches an inning. If you're shooting for, 15 pitches being about what you're doing, Christo's right there at that. And he struggled with the command, the location, and letting innings snowball. So if he can sit in that, 15 to 17 pitches an inning consistently, even if it's only 4 or 5 innings, that's a huge step in terms of his command ability to locate his pitches.
Yeah, I think it's just growth, right? Like this is a guy that had major league and professional looks out of high school, and now it's time for him to continue to elevate that on the college game, because he's got 1 more year after this before he can get drafted. So there's an opportunity for, I think, Drew Christo to really carve out a role. Like I said, maybe in the future can be a weekend guy, but I think he fits really well in this, going up against talent like Creighton and North Dakota State. Like Nebraska has for years searched for this midweek guy to be consistent, and maybe, make it a bullpen game. That's fine, but it doesn't have to be we got to pull a guy out of after 3 innings, then it's another guy after the 5th. And you just kind of are scrapping. Maybe Nebraska can find a midweek guy if Sears, Walsh, and Clark all do their job, and Drew Christo to maybe go out and get them 4 consistently each week.
I think that's really what it comes down to in the end. He's Nick. I'm Austin. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We've got some football responses here for the moments that live rent-free in your head. We'll get to those. Need some Husker baseball and Husker basketball ones as well. Husker softball, Husker volleyball, all of them. Send in those moments that you'll never forget, for positive or negative. We'll get to those to lead off hour 2 of the show in just a sec.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hello. Believe it or not, old phones are one of the most common pain points in offices today. Many of these phones are beyond repair because parts aren't available to fix outdated devices. Whether it's a traditional phone system or cloud-based VoIP technology, Hamilton Business Phones can help upgrade your connection. We make it easy to sync your office phone with your cell for seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you deserve better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures, all things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
Go hog wild, pit barbecue. It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a 1-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at gohogwild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Koppel truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Here we go. Hour 2 of the show. The first texter that I see here named the moment that got us on this topic of those moments that just kind of live rent-free in your head from Nebraska Athletic. We want yours, 402-464-5685. Or if you're watching worldwide on stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, drop a comment. We can see it there. Thanks to Allo for sponsoring Channel 961, Sartor Heyman Jewelers for the text line and the streams. Could not do it without you. The moment that, Nick, you brought up, that the first texter here, 9924, brought up, the onside kick against Northwestern. At that moment, I gave up.
It was so bizarre. And I was just thinking about, all we can do now is just look back and laugh.
Yeah.
And I will never forget sitting at where we were doing the post-game show that day and just being like, I don't really have an explanation for this. I don't really have an explanation on how Northwestern was able to beat Nebraska other than, and Texter, you're fine. We didn't talk about it. Yeah. That's why we're just mentioning you. But I wasn't on the bingo cards of things that could, lose you games. It's the classic interceptions, even heartbreaking moments, touchdown, Hail Mary at the last second, whatever it may be. Onside kick when you're up by whatever it was, 22-13. I believe at the time.
28-17?
Maybe it was 28-17.
Either way. 24-13.
24-13. The onside kick was not on the bingo card. And it can be these moments can be positive ones for Nebraska, but also just heart ripping out of your chest moments. One that would be really good would be the Jano run against Wisconsin, and then Gaglianone or whatever his name was.
Gaglianone.
Yeah, Gaglianone was able to hit the last second field goal, and that pretty bad Wisconsin team was able to beat Nebraska.
The Tanner Mangum Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Anything Keith Duncan related.
Well, and here's the thing is people will forget in that BYU game, Tanner Mangum wasn't even the starter going into the game. It was Taysom Hill, and he got hurt in that game. That was Mike Riley's first game. And the reason that was
I got my first smartphone.
Oh, really? The reason that was that 2017 then?
15.
No, 2015, excuse me. The reason like that was such a big deal is because Nebraska had this incredible streak of winning their first home game or first game of the season when it was at home and stuff. That's how Mike Riley's era started back in 2015. So yeah, man, Tanner Mangum,
Tanner Lee's screen pass against Northern Illinois
that got taken back to the house.
I think about Lakeven Smith dropping the interception or the fumble, and all he had to do was fall down. Terrence Nunn's drop against Texas, obviously the Big 12 championship game against Texas. Tommy's flip to Divine against Illinois, where if he just tucks it, probably over.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of positive ones.
What came to mind for me was JPJ's buzzer beater against Illinois. From 3. Teddy Allen goes the length of the court against Penn State on his way to 41.
Oh, I do remember that 41. Yeah,
the one that I remember.
Didn't he get suspended the next game?
Something like that. The one I remember the most was Thor's block against Iowa. You have the Amir Harris floater with like 11 seconds to go.
Oh, we didn't bring up Amir Harris.
Yeah,
or Nana Kenton or Shamil
Thomas
Stevenson.
Allen.
Tom Allen. Thomas liked Thomas first, and then he liked Tom, and then it was like Thomas again.
Yeah,
he was like very particular on how he got called. Yeah, Thor's block. That's a good one. I'm trying to stay on track here. I mean, we've had a lot of the 1 second back on the clock for Nebraska against Texas.
Kellogg's Hail Mary. Yeah,
I would put honestly just disappointing, and this is more of a longer moment. Just blowing the first half lead against Oklahoma in the 2010 Big 12 championship. Everybody talks so much about that 2009 Big 12 title, which rightfully so. But don't forget, Nebraska was up like 20-3 at half
and didn't score in the second half.
Yeah, didn't score and allowed 20 points. I'm pretty sure it was like a 23-20 final.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing. And just because, and it doesn't get brought up very often because we always talk about how, oh yeah, look, 2009, you had the 1 second back on the clock. But then in 2010, you felt real good going into half. And because even in 2010, when you had a bad offense, and your defense was pretty good, it wasn't as good as the 2009 season, but your defense was plenty good. You felt pretty good about your chances going into the second half, up 20-3, no matter who you were playing.
Yeah,
and dang, bummer.
We got a vote for the Miracle against McNeese. I was sitting in East Stadium for that one, saw that play develop.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying, I'm pretty sure those were Coach Manning's tickets.
Oh, is that right?
I'm pretty sure.
For that game against McNeese, I was at Bass Pro Shops in Kansas City.
Nice.
By the Speedway.
Heck yeah.
I think it's by the Speedway. It's by the IKEA. People know what I'm talking about.
We do.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of the Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh,
I was at the Bass Pro Shops, but the Great Wolf Lodge is by the Speedway.
Gotcha.
So anyway,
in terms of heartbreaking for Husker baseball, Colby Gomez's home run against Oklahoma State, and then having to play that next morning against UConn.
That was a monster shot, man.
Kevin Kopp's in Arkansas,
because that was at Bricktown, wasn't it?
It was at Bricktown.
I remember that because actually in 2021, when now obviously that was way back when, right? When was the Colby Gomez 2018? No, it would have been like 2019, right? Because it was Erstad's final year.
Yeah, that was the end of Erstad.
So 2019, because then Will Bolt was hired in 2020. His first season got cut short. So in 2021, in September of 2021, when Nebraska went down to Oklahoma to play football, I stopped. And Bricktown's a super cool spot. It's one of the underrated places. That whole downtown atmosphere in Oklahoma City. They have the 1995 bombing memorial is really cool. If you can go check that out, highly recommend you do that down in Oklahoma City. Toby Keith's bar is down there in Oklahoma City. Yes, rest in peace to him. And then Bricktown, it's a really cool little area. They got the river that runs through the city, or the little water that goes through through downtown. It's really cool. Highly recommend. Really, I have not been able to watch a baseball game at Bricktown, but it's on my list of like, I wish I want to be able to go here.
My wife and I just did that trip this summer.
To Bricktown.
Absolutely recommend.
Yeah.
Well, we started in Oklahoma City. Was our first stop on the trip. So we did the memorial. We did the Toby Keith restaurant. We walked the waterway there. Funny enough, I parked at the Bass Pro Shop.
Oh, is that
parking.
right?
So,
How about
yeah,
that?
look at that.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's where I was for the McNeese one. For Husker baseball, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Just there was a lot of Big Ten tournaments.
For Bucks home run, we brought up.
Yep, that was a good one. For like Nebraska baseball, that you had so much excitement going into it, I think, and even Nebraska would get some wins, and you'd feel like, all right, Nebraska has a shot here to win the tournament.
I remember the win against Michigan in the semis.
Yep. There was the one where was that with the year that they lost to Ohio State
with the soft tossing lefty.
Yeah, stupid. So I'm trying to think of basketball. Obviously, No Sit Sunday's a great one.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas's buzzer beater back in 2009, the buzzer beater against Texas. We just talked about him. Ashante Jones hit the buzzer beater against Texas.
On the downside of basketball, Mekhi Luke's 3 when Kansas came up here in 2017.
Yes. Yeah. That was against Roby's team.
Yep.
The team with Roby and Deshaun Burke.
Not Deshaun. That was still Timmy.
That was still Timmy.
Yeah,
so
that was
who would have been on that?
Copeland. It was the death lineup.
Copeland.
Yeah.
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 Because
Devontae Graham or Frank Mason. Devontae Graham.
Let's see. The Swift from Lincoln says the thought about the interception that Nebraska got late against Iowa last year just to give the ball up again, which led to Iowa winning the game. That's a bad moment. A good moment would be in 2022, the interception by Chris Kolarvik.
Quentin Newsom should have ended that game 3 plays earlier.
He should have. That entire game was really unique to be at. I got food. So I don't know if I've ever told this story on air, because it wasn't the most pleasant story. So I made the trip to Iowa City for that game, and we got word prior to the start of the game, like, hey, it's going to be Matt Rule, right? So Matt Rule, we were like, all right, so we're gonna book it back to Iowa or to Lincoln, right? After that game. And if I remember correctly, I didn't stay because I canceled my hotel room for that Friday night because I knew that they were going to announce Rule the next day, and I wanted to get there for the because I knew we were going to be on the air. And so I ate at the Mellow Mushroom. Their Mellow Mushroom is in a mall in Iowa City, and it's very close. It was like 10 minutes from the stadium. So I pack up. I did the post-game show from Kinnick for football, packed up, took the van over took like the ticket vehicle over to the Mellow Mushroom and ate at the Mellow Mushroom. I'm driving home, and I just was not feeling very good. I was like, dang, something doesn't feel right. I ended up getting food poisoning.
The mushroom was not mellow.
I don't think I've ever told this story. I was on air the next morning. We were talking about Matt Rule making trips back and forth because of food poisoning while talking about Matt Rule. That was one of the worst days of my life was working while food poisoning. But nonetheless, how about ham and beans? Huskers laying an egg in the NCAA tournament.
I like the one before that, Michigan at the end of the Alamo Bowl. The near hook and ladder Hail Mary sort of thing they ran on the kickoff.
Yeah, that's right.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
One that will always stick out to me, just as a kind of sliding doors moment, Penn State's miscommunication in the 2017 volleyball Final Four. Where they just let that ball just drop to the floor.
That's a good one. People might forget that.
The only reason I remember that is because I was getting set up for a Schrader's final.
Okay.
Was that day. And it's like a 7 o'clock, 7:30 final. It's like, you know what?
Man.
We can push it back. It's the last one of the week, last one of the day. So we're just going to watch the game and, you have your time after that. So we spent the first hour and a half, 2 hours of the final watching Nebraska volleyball. And then we took our test after that.
Oh, that's wild. Yeah, no. I'm just trying to think of like women's basketball. The Kelsey Griffin days were fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like I remember consistently.
Emily Cady is a name. Pride of Seward.
From Seward. Yeah, that's right. From Seward. Emily Cady's a name. Ooh, we could go up and down that list of Lindsey Moore as well. Was a really, really good point guard for them. Dominique Kelly had so many dominant years.
Rachel Terrio.
Yes, Terrio. That team was fun because it was oh gosh, she wore number 3 for them. I want to say her first name was Haley. If Matt Coatney's listening, he's probably yelling the name because he knows them all. But anyway, so no, Nebraska women's basketball. You can go up and down the list of Emily Cady's a good one. Jordan Hooper, obviously. Before she transferred out,
Vonnie Turner.
Yeah, before she transferred to Notre Dame was Jess Shepard. Prior to Fremont. Yep. So yeah, she ended up going to Notre Dame.
She did.
Jess Shepard did. That's how you knew she was pretty good. 5-star.
Hallie Sample.
Hallie Sample. Yes, thank you, Hallie Sample. So it was that Rachel Theriot team. They got a big
Tiara Laudermill.
Yes, they got a big win, a couple big wins in the Big Ten tournament. Even like Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament a couple of years ago, very recently had some nice wins in the Big Ten tournament over Iowa. They beat Iowa in the Big Ten tournament. I believe it might have been their Alexis Markowski's freshman year, just 2 seasons ago. They got some big wins in the Big Ten tournament. They ended up then losing first game against Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament.
Here's one for you. Maddie Simon.
Yep. Pride of Pius. Pride of
Mhm.
Pius. Yep. Shout out to her mom is my State Farm agent.
Hey,
So yeah,
look at that.
shout out to Nicole.
Grace
So-
Mitchell, anyone?
Oh, I don't remember that one.
Grace Mitchell was good for like a double a month.
Okay. Wow. I
Role
do not
player.
remember that one. Yeah, this is fun. What a fun show. So Notorious BIB says, how about Jordy Ball going down in the first game this season? Yeah, disappointing. Speaking of Jordy Ball, did you see she's going to be an ambassador for the NCAA college football game?
Good for Jordy Ball.
So
That's awesome.
It's interesting. This is on a current day note. Jordy Ball, and then there's another female athlete that are headlining this thing of them having female athletes be ambassadors for the college football game. Now, Austin, correct me if I'm wrong here, or tell me if you're in a completely different wavelength than I am. Does that kind of give you the feeling that they're going to look at other college sports video games coming back?
I would hope so.
Did you ever play NCAA baseball?
Baseball specifically, yes.
So I missed the NCAA, like it was MVP baseball. NCAA baseball 06 and 07 specifically. They had the Texas
05 was the best one.
05. Because I only played 06. 06 had the Texas guy on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
07, maybe it was Troy Tulowitzki on the cover. I don't know if that would have been his time. I think it would have been earlier than him. But speaking of Troy Tulowitzki, is he still at Texas as an assistant coach?
I thought he left. I don't know that for a fact.
And then 07 had a guy from Long Beach State on the cover of that one. Was on 07. But nonetheless, so and then like there was NCAA basketball.
He's the director of player development at Texas still.
Okay, nice. NCAA basketball 10 had Blake Griffin on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun game. But they stopped all those. And so I'm wondering that since they're going to get more than just college football athletes to be ambassadors of the game, if we're going to start to see them, obviously start creating some other games as well.
I'm not sold on it happening in the next 5 years, but the next 10 to 15.
Really?
Yeah.
I would be interested. I think it's easier it's easier than maybe we think, because I think the thing that they're waiting to see is how many players opt in, which probably, by the way, on day one, there was
like
actually
5,000.
Yeah, there was like 5,000 that opted
out of
in.
11,000.
Yeah, 5 of the 11,000 opted in for it already, which is pretty good numbers, honestly. And so I thought that was good to see. Like Jackson Dart was one of them. And there's probably more. There was just a few of the notable ones that announced on social media that, hey, I'm in it. Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, voices on it. David Pollock is even in it as well. So I think it gives an avenue, as long as the NIL side of things go okay, it gives them an avenue to come back into other sport video games, whether it's college baseball, I mean, you could do college baseball like you do with NBA, where you have a baseball side and then also a softball side.
Right.
Because in NBA, you have NBA and then 2K in the same, NBA and WNBA in the same game. So I think you could do that too. You could probably do that with men's basketball too. So
I would think. A couple more interesting sliding doors moments that live in people's heads. Brian says football at Virginia Tech with Tyrod Taylor. Yep, that was brutal.
Yeah.
And then Justin on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, said the 2021 punt return by Michigan State kicked off the best 3-9 team of history.
There was I want to go back to real quick. I told you this during the break. The Michael Crabtree games.
Oh,
Michael Crabtree is
70 to 10.
Yeah, Michael Crabtree. This was back when Texas Tech was really good. With Mike Leach as coach. Michael Crabtree against Nebraska. He always had the Huskers number. And there was one specifically when Texas Tech was ranked 5th in the country. Crabtree and Texas Tech, they beat Nebraska bad. This was early in the 2008 season. I'll see if I can find the statistics here because I'm on Texas Tech's site. Oh, well, I can't find it. But no, Michael Crabtree's a name that people forget about because he had his career kind of just like hit the fan in the NFL and he just kind of disappeared.
Is his biggest NFL moment Sherman ripping his chain?
It's got to be.
It can't not be, right?
It can be. I think it has to be because was that also part of where Richard Sherman got pretty popular too?
Yeah, that was like right at the start of that run for Legion of Boom.
Yeah. So I think it's got to do the same for Michael Crabtree too.
I think so
because he did play in that Super Bowl where the lights went out, right? He was on that 49ers team.
Yeah.
So yeah, but and so he doesn't have a Super Bowl.
Justin Blackman is a dude I thought was going to be so much better than he was.
Drafted by the Jags.
Yeah, which is probably part of it.
Yeah, certainly. Same with Blake Bortles, right?
Yeah.
Blake Bortles. Not a Blake Bortles guy out of UCF?
I was a bigger Jordan Lynch guy than I was a Blake Bortles guy.
Oh, Jordan Lynch.
We never had that conversation. Like a couple months ago, we were talking about the random college football quarterbacks from mid-majors.
And
we never actually got to that conversation.
It's funny that we bring that up. We need to take a break. I know. I hate this.
You got a minute and a half.
Okay, I got a minute and a half. Guards from the 2000. I just saw this on Twitter today, and we had no intention of doing this today. So it's kind of crazy how the world works. Guards in the 2010s. The caption was guards in the 2010s that we all wanted to be. College basketball guards. Michael Carter Williams from Syracuse. Okay. These just might be memory lane.
Yeah, fine.
Trey Burke from Michigan.
Okay.
John Wall. Russ Smith from Louisville. Kemba.
Yep.
Buddy Hield.
Yep.
Frank Mason.
Yeah.
No. Out on Frank Mason?
Well, the reason I'm out on Frank Mason is because Frank Jackson should have had the best moment of that Champions Classic, but he got one up because he pushed off and then hit the jumper.
That's right. Jimmer Fredette. I have a personal feeling for Jimmer Fredette. Tyler Ennis from Syracuse.
Yep.
Oladipo.
Who's your guy from Miami? Shane Larkin.
Yep. Shane Larkin was fun. Victor Oladipo is on this list. Trae Young. I don't remember Trae Young as much from Oklahoma. I remember
because
Buddy
they
Hield
started
more.
out so hot and then got so cold.
Yeah. Two more. Lonzo, which I never really cared. And then Shabazz Napier. Shabazz was a guy. Shabazz Napier. He's in that Shane Larkin conversation.
What about like Jacob Pullen? Dennis Clemente, Kansas State.
Clemente was one that I remember watching Clemente at the Bob.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember Clemente. That was back when Frank Martin was the Kansas State coach, right?
It's true.
Dang. People also forget that, and I find it hilarious every time I watch Big Ten Network and Bruce Weber is on the screen because I will never forget watching him coach Illinois, and then he leaves Illinois, or did he get fired? He, for whatever reason, left Illinois, went to Kansas State, suffered tremendously at Kansas State, and then got a job at the Big Ten Network.
Yeah.
Bruce Weber, his career.
Living his best life.
Who was the bald coach at Illinois?
John Gross.
Gosh,
dang. I think he ended up in Ohio at some point. Or he came from Ohio or something like that.
John Gross. Okay, anyway.
God bless John Gross.
That was a little bit more than a minute and a half.
Yeah, that was closer to 2.5. But hey, that's fine. It's what we do here. It's On the Block. We're off the rails. Guys naming dudes. More next.
K9 Design in Lincoln reminds drivers to drive with the 3 C's of safety: caution, courtesy, and common sense. When a car hits a car, it's an accident. When a car hits a child, it's a tragedy. Safe driving is every driver's responsibility. Canine Design offers quality dog grooming and retail store for your fur baby. Set up an appointment at 402-465-8760. They're located at 1401 North 56th Street. The staff at Canine Design cares about the safety of your 2-leg and 4-leg kids.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot. Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at the Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most. For all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Think you need a new furnace due to a cracked heat exchanger? Call Bryant for a free second opinion. Might save you thousands, no matter what brand. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. We do whatever it takes.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Early break with Sip and Jake.
You did feel the need to cuss in this one. Yeah, you cannot be this mentally fragile. Act like you're a damned NCAA tournament team.
Listen, I'm not going to change the way I tweet.
Do you
think Fred saw the tweet? Do you think Fred saw the tweet and called a timeout? And they're like, Sorensen's upset. I got to get this.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This segment is our attempt to do actual sports radio. So we're going to give it a shot, see how it goes. Again, if you have any other names of people that we just neglected to mention, maybe we can get to them. But I'm Austin Norman. He's Nick Sainer. We're going to turn our attention to college basketball here.
Speaking of college basketball, we brought up John Gross, and I wanted to tell his record. He is 60 games above 500 right now at Akron. They are, what did I say? Like 21-9?
Yeah,
21-7.
Yeah.
No, maybe 19-7.
19-6, 19-7.
19-7 right now at Akron. It probably might make the NCAA tournament. The Zips.
My guess would be they're the MAC auto bid.
Which I would be interested to see if Joe Moorhead is still the head coach. Is he still the head coach for football?
Is he or did they let him go?
Gosh dang it, Austin. Here we go again.
You look that up. I'll get to this.
Joe Moorhead. We can find out real quick.
Okay.
Joe Moorhead is the head football coach at Akron.
There we go.
That's what we're done. We're done. Move on.
Okay. An article from The Athletic, Brian Bennett wrote this, sitting down with the commissioner of the SWAC. McClellan is his name. I forget his first name. Charles McClellan. There you go. Thanks, Nick. Some interesting comments about the bracket and how it breaks out. I'm going to start with this. So will road wins be extra valuable on Selection Sunday in light of top 10 teams losing on the road even more? Here's what Charles McClellan said. Quote, "It's a red flag when almost all of your quality wins come at home. So it's paramount that these teams prove they can win away from their home court. But we look at several metrics. We have tons and tons of data. Who you play, where you played, and what the outcome was will always be the fundamental core of what we do." That question specifically was in reference to like the top 16 seeds, because that's all we have. That's all we know. So when McClellan says that, he was probably in the state of mind of thinking about, hey, when you look up and down those top 16 seeds, how much did you rate road wins in a year? It's harder than maybe ever before to win on the road in college basketball. That was his response.
Yeah.
But Nick, I think it still holds just as true for Nebraska, where if you're Nebraska, you have to say, oh crap, they look at our lack of road wins as a potential red flag that's keeping us from that 8-9 game, instead of being up there as a 10 or maybe an 11 seed, heck, even maybe in the play-in.
Which is why, here's the thing. So that as we experienced earlier in the season, that the game against Indiana at home is a quad 3 win. That's why this one last Wednesday was so crucial for Nebraska basketball, because not only was it a Big Ten road victory, but it was also a quad 2 victory. It classifies firmly as a quad 2 victory. I mentioned this to Austin earlier, that right now, oh, how about this, Austin? It's changed since the last time we talked.
Oh boy.
So how about this? Minnesota is firmly, or excuse me, scratch that. Minnesota currently RPI wise is at 135th in the country.
That's a notable number because
that is the last possible number for quad 2. Ooh. So we talk about this because that road loss either stands as quad 2, or if Nebraska probably beats Minnesota on Sunday, Minnesota will then drop to a quad 3 loss. That game against Minnesota on the road. And that does plays a little factor, right? Because then that takes away, yes, in some aspect, one of your losses in the quad 1 and quad 2 matchups. But also it just takes away some notoriety. Nebraska, you look at their 3-7 currently in quad 1 matchups, and all 3 of those wins coming at home. And then you look at quad 2, and you had, two of their 4 wins are coming on at home. And so the other 2 are on the road at Kansas State and Indiana. So this Sunday is a big one, because Nebraska currently sits at 12-0 in those quad 3 and quad 4 games. Got to continue to boost that. You don't want a number in that right-hand column.
You absolutely do not. And I'm glad you brought up the quads, because that was something else that McClellan was asked about. And especially if you look at quad 1 and 2, right? The wins that are weighted more valuably. The guy that wrote the article said, well, are all quad 1 wins the same, right? Just look at the raw number. And McClellan said, no, what they do is they break it down into quad 1A and quad 1B, and then quad 2A and quad 2B. So that'd be like teams 1 through 35 or teams 1 through 40 would be a quad 1A win. Nebraska right now has at least 2 of those, with Purdue and with Wisconsin. As much as Wisconsin's sliding, they're still up there. Those should be pretty firm. Had they been able to knock off Illinois, it would have been in there. I think Northwestern is probably that quad 1B where you're in that 35 to 75 or the 40 to 75 range, where it's still quad one, maybe a little bit lower end. But I think that's helpful for Nebraska, Nick, because they knocked off a team that rates very well in Purdue. That is not just a general quad one like a road win at Ohio State might be, where they're 74th, 75th, hanging on as a borderline quad one win. For Nebraska to have a quad 1A win, whereas the road wins would be a red flag for the committee. I think if they can look at Nebraska and say, hey, they have 2 or 3 quad 1A wins, maybe that helps Nebraska's case a little bit.
It's interesting because, so you mentioned, I'm trying to look, so looking at how we'd break this up, I guess, is, and according once again to WarrenNolan.com, when considering the net rankings, quad one wins, just to remind everybody, the net rankings for quad one are 1 through 30 at home, qualifies as a quad one, 1 through 50 on a neutral site, and 1 through 75th on the road. Then that kind of takes over when you're talking about quad two. Most importantly, you want to talk about the 1As. You could even go a little bit further and say 1A could potentially be the Michigan State game as well.
True, who's
23rd in the net currently. So that's where you're sitting there going, okay, Nebraska, they've done their job against a lot of these teams, right? Against, first of all, the teams that they should beat. We're not sitting here saying, man, Nebraska, that loss early in the season to South Carolina State kills you. Or we would probably
like Chicago State might for Northwestern.
Yeah, we aren't having that conversation on that. That's going to keep Nebraska out of the tournament. I think if we look back in a month and a half and say, okay, what kept Nebraska out of the tournament? I think very well you could say, well, they lost a home game at the end of the season to Minnesota, and they followed that up with a road loss against Michigan. Like that's not I know back to back specifically because they'll go to Ohio State after this. Or if you wanted to say back to back, is that, you know what? Let's say Nebraska hypothetically wins tonight or Sunday. They also win next Thursday at Ohio State. And then the following Sunday, when they have senior day against Rutgers, they lay an egg. And they finish out the season against Rutgers. They lose against Rutgers at home, and they lose on the road at Michigan, right? I think a month and a half, if Nebraska doesn't make the tournament, it's going to be a reason of, well, they ended the regular season with those 2 losses against 2 teams that they should certainly beat. 2 teams that will be qualified as a quad 3 and quad 4 loss, and then maybe one and done in the Big Ten tournament. And so it's just, you're not out of the woods yet, but Nebraska, they're in a good spot. They're in a better spot than a lot of other programs, maybe even Northwestern. But to this point, they've done their job. And I think maybe we just have to hope and pray and continue to believe that they'll do enough.
I'm glad you brought up Northwestern, because I think if you look at the resumes, they're comparable. On the happy hour, we went over the strength of schedules, right? Yeah. And how Nebraska's non-con is actually better than Northwestern's in that regard. But Northwestern is consistently rated higher than Nebraska in these catch-all metrics and in the actual bracketology. And I think it goes back to something I've been saying for the last week, is the lack of name brand recognition for Nebraska, where it's not a basketball program. Northwestern's made the tournament.
They have
recently.
And
they got their
games.
win. They made it last year, put up a pretty good effort in the first round in a loss, whereas Nebraska hasn't made the tournament. So I think there's even more respect for Northwestern right now than there is for Nebraska, that if the resumes are comparable, Northwestern's going to get that kind of historical nudge. I want to go to the text line here real quick too. 7563 says, don't forget we were down by 14 to North Dakota in the second half. Coming back and winning that game is going to save Nebraska getting into the tournament. It's interesting to juxtapose that with McClellan's comments.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the committee is going more in depth than I think we might give them credit for. But at the same time, they can't do all their research on every single team, because they're not just looking at 68 teams or 36 at larges.
Yeah.
They're looking at 100 teams probably to be safe. So does the committee just glance over quad 3 and 4? Hey, no losses, you took care of business. Or do they say, they were tight against North Dakota. Ryder gave him some fits. Duquesne, that was a game, well into the second half. Do they look at that stuff? Probably, but I don't know how granularly.
So the way I've been explained or kind of informed on this is that there are multiple people and they break them up by region. And so basically, let's just hypothetical number, 4 people are in control or are in charge of watching every game that you deem meaningful or paying attention at least to every game in the, I don't know, send out like 5 states. Nebraska,
Minnesota,
Iowa,
Wisconsin, South Dakota,
a region.
Yeah.
And they're in charge of that. And then when they convene, however often they do, they let everybody else know. That's the way I've been portrayed and been told that that's how they operate. Now, is that true? I don't know. It would make the most sense, right? To get because then that way you can incorporate eye test, if you will. So just as I would say this for Nebraska fans that might be on the fence and say, man, I hope they weren't watching that North Dakota game or the first half. Now, granted, they won, and the McClellan did say at the end of the day, wins matter the most. I think you could say the same thing about Illinois, right? And that would maybe even mean more to you than a home game against North Dakota, where maybe you were down 14. You could also say the same thing last night. Northwestern at home was down by 12 at one point, 21-9 to Michigan, and then they were down 21-12. And so, I think that you can see both sides of the coin to where, there's going to be some games, I think, ultimately at the end of the day where Nebraska, they came back and they avoided disaster against North Dakota. But then, hey, how about Illinois? It took them to overtime. And if you want to go off the eye test, you feel pretty good about what the committee saw that day.
I'm going to be curious to see, too, if Nebraska's road loss to Minnesota is worse than Illinois' at Penn State.
Yeah.
The way in which it happened, as highly ranked as Illinois was, I would probably say that's a worse loss because Penn State is even further from the tournament picture than Minnesota. But is it potentially more damaging for Nebraska because they don't have other road wins, to stack it on top of potentially?
This is interesting. D-Ron on the text line says, I want to win enough to get us to a 7 seed or either stay at a 10 or 11. I want Sweet 16 or better. I think that's probably a little bit of a stretch. However, but back to the seed comment, D-Ron, because Austin, you and I discussed this before the happy hour back during the noon hour. We talked about, I gave you the hypothetical situation of okay, what's the most realistic seed, highest realistic seed that Nebraska could get? And in that situation, it would be Nebraska wins out and
including the Big Ten tournament,
including the Big Ten tournament. They win the Big Ten title, so automatically they're in no matter what. I mean, I think we've settled at 6 is the absolute highest. I also, maybe we'd feel better. Maybe we'd feel different about it if Nebraska truly gets rolling like that, and to where they're playing for the Big Ten title. Now, we brought it up earlier in the show also, would you rather them have a 8 seed and play, I don't know, Pittsburgh, or they have to go to Spokane or whatever? Would you rather them do that, or would you rather them be a 10 seed facing off against a 7 seed in Omaha? I think you need to be realistic with the goals here, and that the goals is to get first of all, not only in the tournament, but get your first win, and then see where the program goes. Maybe the round of 32 then is next season, and who knows? You could strike gold. Maybe Nebraska gets past the round of 32, but hey, you got to focus on Minnesota on Sunday, and then get another road win on Wednesday or Thursday. Show people Indiana wasn't a fluke.
I'm going to have
and it also wasn't just because Indiana's bad. I think that was part of it.
They're mid.
Yeah, Indiana's not good. So Nebraska should have won that game by 15.
But they also weren't favored to.
And so show next Thursday against Ohio State on the road when it matters, when that time comes, that, you know what, we beat a bad team. Because Ohio State's kind of in the same boat. They're meh. They're fine. Nebraska probably won't be favored on the road, but Ohio State probably should lose that game.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I'm going to finish out with Charles McClellan's comments, and then Ted on the text line. I see you. We're going to get to that to wrap up.
It's an interesting point.
The other thing that McClellan said was that the committee would have no problem putting BYU in the Salt Lake City pod or Nebraska in Omaha or Gonzaga in Spokane if that's where those teams would go according to bracketing principles. Don't forget, it's not just a straight 1 through 68. It's the S curve, right? So the way it works out is the top 1 gets the bottom 4, I think the top 8, and then the bottom 16. So they snake their way through all the seed lines, so it's not just down the list. So if on the S curve, Nebraska would end up in the Omaha region, the committee's not going to send them away from that just because it's a home court advantage, right? So there have been multiple, mock brackets out today that have Nebraska playing in Omaha in that 7-10 game, which I think I would rather have Nebraska as a 10 seed in Omaha than in the 8-9 game in Houston, Spokane, whatever. But to your point too about the highest possible seed for Nebraska, even if they're Big Ten champs, it would depend on how it looks. Because what if like Purdue gets upset or Illinois gets upset? You don't face either of those teams on your road to the championship. Like you missed out on an opportunity or two for a really quality victory. Well, yeah, you're Big Ten champs, you're in automatically, but it's different if you're going through those teams and adding legit wins to your resume versus, hey, you had the path cleared for you.
Yeah, you're right about that. I also I lost my train of thought on this. Never mind. I lost my train of thought. Shoot.
All right. Well, pick it up. Get back on the train over break. We'll get to that. Ted, you have a really interesting point I want to bring up. It'll tie in something statistical as well about Nebraska. We'll go to break, wrap up on Husker Hoops next.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What do you think of when you hear the chocolate season? Artisan chocolates? Of course, they have the best chocolates this side of the Atlantic. Friendly neighborhood coffee shop? Yup, they're that too. A nationally recognized top-tier brunch spot? Waffle weekends, baby. And the place to grab a gift for literally any occasion? Everybody loves chocolate. See for yourself at The Chocolate Season, 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead online at thechocolateseason.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, and we have some really big savings for you right now. Our new crossover sale is underway. New Terrains, Equinoxes, and Trailblazers starting at $23,290. That's right, $23,290. Also, we've continued our huge Sierra and Silverado truck sale with over $10,000 off new pickups. You heard right, over $10,000 off list. Coppell truly has a small town feel with big city deals. We're right down 144th Street or at CoppellCars.com. Stock numbers G260980 and C119824.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we go. We're in.
What'd you
expect? It's the crossover with old school. Jay Foreman in the building. Hi, Jay.
What up? What up?
You called us some very rude names, so that's okay. I mean, I thought we were both that.
This me showing love to you guys.
All right. Well,
Jay struggles with his feelings.
I do not.
Jay's a manly man.
He I'm not even that, man. I got a soft side.
He doesn't know how to express.
You know what it is, man. The one thing I learned this week, to be honest with you, is it's hard because when you do a lot of things for people, they don't appreciate it.
The more you do, the less you get appreciated sometimes.
And then they feel entitled. But then it's like you got to be who you are, and you always got to stand on business.
SOB.
Yeah. And the thing is like, so, I feel like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. It might not be when you like it, but I'm going to get it done. And that's just because of timing and things.
Yeah. You're a busy guy. A lot on your plate.
And that's just the way it is. Sometimes people act like you snap your fingers, you got to jump, and that's just not the way the world works.
Think they're the main course when really they're just a side dish.
Yeah. Well, you could talk your way out of not being the main course. And I've never seen that many people do that in my life.
Dang. Tough words. I want to go to the text line here to cut through this tension over there on the other end of the table.
No, that's my boy. Hey, listen. We about to get busy tonight. Tonight. I am pumped for this game.
Are you?
Pius the 10th against Southeast Knights. First time they played, overtime game, 2-point game. It's going to be on like butter popcorn.
There it is.
And I'm not going to have it because it's too salty. I don't want to, I don't want to be dry and start getting hoarse on the radio.
Good thinking. To the text line, Ted, we promised we'd get to this. I love the confidence, guys, but this team, Nebraska men's basketball, is too streaky to win out. Yes and no. Yes and no. The yes is Evan Miyakawa on Twitter tweets out once a week or so, kill shot is what he calls it. Teams that go on 10-0 runs or teams that allow 10-0 runs. Mm-hmm. So the teams that go on a lot without allowing a lot, Houston, Arizona, Auburn, UConn, Carolina, really good teams. Teams that allow a lot of runs but don't go on many of them, Northwestern, Texas Tech, Rutgers, Maryland, kind of a mixed bag. You have in the bottom lefts of teams that don't allow a lot and don't go on a lot of 10-0 runs, Wisconsin, Ole Miss, Boise State. And then the most streaky teams, LSU, Villanova, Providence is a bubble team, TCU, St. John's outside edge of the bubble, Dayton's in that conversation. Nebraska men's basketball is firmly in the middle of that graph. They basically go on and allow an average number of 10-point runs per game, but they're closest to the most streaky edge, which I think bears out we see some big runs in Nebraska games for Nebraska and their opponents, right? You think about the 30-point run essentially against Michigan. Well, they gave a 10-point run up going into halftime. You think about Minnesota, the start of the second half. You think about what Creighton did. You think about Rutgers getting up 12, giving up a couple runs. Indiana. Even the end of the Northwestern game, Nebraska kind of put the clamps down. Michigan State to help win that game. So Nebraska, I think, within games is maybe streakier than we give it credit for sometimes. But what we haven't seen out of Nebraska is a huge losing streak. They rattle off 9 straight wins to start the year, run into Creighton. That was their first 2-game losing streak of the year, Creighton and then at Minnesota. Okay, Nebraska wins a few games. They go on, I can do math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in a row. Lose at Wisconsin, beat Purdue, then have another 2-game losing streak, Iowa and Rutgers. They stop that, go on a 2-game winning streak, Northwestern, Ohio State. Then they lose 3 out of 4. Okay, Maryland, come back, beat Wisconsin, lose at Illinois, at Northwestern. Now they're the only team in the Big Ten with a 3-game win streak. We're used to Nebraska going on long losing skids. Losing 3 out of 4 isn't great, but you've also never lost more than 2 games in a row this year.
I think before Jay gets going here, I think, I told you this, Austin, when you brought this up to me. I think Nebraska's done a really good job this year, and this is part of that veteran presence on this roster of not allowing teams to continuously punch them, right? And Nebraska's been able to, whenever they start out quick and they punch first, they've been able to withstand some of the punches, right? Look at last Wednesday's game. Nebraska starts out really well. Now, obviously, you give yourself a 20-point cushion at half. So it allows you to maybe, a little bit of margin for error. Well, Nebraska allows them to eventually make up 17 points on them at one point. And then what does Nebraska do? They respond with their own, I think it was 14-2 run. Yeah. So, and we've seen them do that time and time again, even in those non-conference games that we just got done discussing, right? That aren't against super formidable opponents. And so I think when you look at Nebraska, one thing they've done this year more so than even in last couple of years is they've been able to either punch first or they've been able to withstand punches. Teams have tried when Nebraska's been up by 12. I remember the Indiana game at home. It was Indiana tried to make it back within 5, and every single time they tried, they couldn't. Look at Purdue even. Nebraska got up by double digits comfortably, and every time Purdue got it back down to within 8, and that usual and that all too familiar, oh boy, it's getting a little hot and heavy. It's getting a little concerning in here. Every time that feeling kind of crept over, Husker fans' bodies, what did Nebraska do? They were able to go on a 5-0 spurt. They withstand punches really well, better than in most recent years.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit more resilient. I think that would be called it, and they're a little bit more savvy. I think the experience that a lot of those guys got last year and playing some good, legitimate basketball has allowed that transition with Rink Mass and Williams coming in to be a little bit more smoother. It was a little rough at times at the beginning of the year. It's 2 different teams, right? You got to think that, after losing that Minnesota game, I think that was a reality check. The Creighton was, one of the top-ranked teams in the nation when they came in here. So you can say, okay, I see what we did well.
They also shot the lights out. I mean, Nebraska wasn't going to win that game. They might have been more competitive. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're not.
I am.
No, you're not. Because if you were really sorry, you wouldn't have done it.
But I'm just saying.
Going. Yeah, right.
Creighton can shoot the lights out against. They just did it against UConn. I mean, so to your point, though, I was backing you up. To your point, like nobody's beating Creighton that day. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
I'll
Nick.
get out
Go
of
ahead.
here. No, it's all right.
No. We're gonna keep this in here. This is great. We're getting it. Nick saying it out.
Go ahead. No, we're not. Don't do that.
No, I'll just play it. No, but I mean, when you show up and knowing Creighton had all their players coming back, along with Isaac Trout, a big get in the transfer portal, where you look at Nebraska still trying to work the kinks out. So you're like, okay, I can understand that.
It's the working the kinks out part that I want to address here too. When Ted says the team's too streaky, I don't think that winning at Minnesota and Rutgers would have done a lot for Nebraska's resume. Maybe if you can say, hey, they're in the race for 2nd in the Big Ten instead of the race for 4th. Sure, maybe that changes the conversation a little bit, but I still think the losses are more damaging than the wins would have been repairing to some degree. But also to that point, Nebraska's grown since then, right? Nebraska's not the same team. They're playing differently, probably playing better on the aggregate. So yes, it's unfortunate that Nebraska lost those 2 games. Right now, Indiana's the outlier for the road win in conference play, but I think the hope is that, hey, they learned their lesson. It's better late than never, and Nebraska is now in a better spot to handle their last 2 road games.
Yeah, ideally, good opponents to play as well. I think the Minnesota loss isn't as bad as it looked initially. Because you got to think, I know Ben Johnson personally. He was on. You talking about the hot seat? My man was on the inferno seat. I mean, his little butt cheeks were burned up already before the season started. They didn't look really good. Their best player was out. And then they got caught by surprise and they got destroyed on the offensive glass, right? The Rutgers game, I think everybody lost themselves towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then, now where they're at, they just got to be able to, somebody's going to test their will, make it a scrappy game, make it a physical, kind of one of those rough and tough games.
It's going to be Minnesota and Rutgers.
You never know who it's going to be. I mean, it might be all of them. So they're going to test and see if they're looking for a weakness, right? So you got to see if you're bold enough to stand up for yourself and not stand up for yourself, but not get out of your element. And that's where Nebraska lost themselves against Rutgers. And so, we'll see. I think they're in a good position. They're good. I think they should feel good, but also there's nothing like playing at home with a little bit of cold revenge on your mind. Nothing like it.
They're in good position, but there's also more work to be done.
Yeah, and I would ask people this: would you like them to play better basketball? Say they don't go 4-0 and they go 3 out of the 4, and then play well in the Big Ten and maybe eke out a game in the tournament, or do you want to go 4-0 and then not play well against, because some opponents aren't, like Michigan and Ohio State, right? They're 1, 2, 3 Cancun, and then lay an egg up in Minneapolis, and then I guess Omaha maybe where I've seen today
potentially.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Nicholas?
Great.
You little pouty pat over here. This dude turned. I'm not. Hey, he turned. He turned 23.
Here we
and
go.
Got brand new.
Here we go.
Listen, people out there.
This
is about the 6th time in the last 2.5 weeks that Jay's told me I've gotten brand new. I don't know how many more times I can get new. I don't know how much newer I can get.
I like the old model, man. For people out there, I told Nick, a la Rick Pitino. I said, listen,
I'm slow laterally.
Up until 2024, so 2023 prior, you were one of the most enjoyable people to be around.
Okay.
Now, since you got brand new and you went 1, 2, 3, literally Cancun, you ain't enjoyable no more.
Most unenjoyable night of your life.
My man came in here with the John B. haircut, and you could not tell him anything. Got him a little tan because I said, "Dang, Nick, you got tan." He's like, "Yeah, can you notice?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Nick. Yeah. But that's my boy, though. I wouldn't trade Nick in for the world.
We're about to spend a lot of time together over these next 2.5 weeks.
I would not trade Nick for the world, man. I can trust him. He's reliable. And
no, come on, keep it going. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
And he's handsome. He's handsome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Girlfriend,
he's a modern.
did you hear that?
He's a modern. Hey, well, I'll tell you. Listen, when you talk about people that step up big,
shout out to Kyle.
Yeah, step up like a champion.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to give out that love. Uncle Jay is happy, man.
There you go.
I'm happy for Nick. I don't even get anything out of it. You know what it is, Austin? I'm happy because he's getting joy. Yeah, I get joy when he's happy. Yeah. All you got to do is say, "Hey, I'm winning."
That's a true ball.
Oh, well, then you know what? My day is made.
Simple as that.
6:30 p.m. Join Jay and I tonight.
Oh,
6:20 pregame.
And you know what? I promise.
6:20 pregame.
Hey, listen. I promise here. Last time I was in Pius, I got chastised.
He was out of control.
Be on my best behavior.
I had to calm him down last week.
He was mad at me.
I was mad.
A 22-year-old man chastised.
I'll be honest. I raised my voice a little bit on him off the air.
He took the headphones off and he's shaking. He's like, "I'm embarrassed." He's like, "I'm embarrassed."
I said, "Jay, you can't be so vocal."
That's stepping up to the plate. That's accountability.
I'm gonna be very monotone.
There we go.
Yeah.
No
Keep
energy.
the energy up for old school, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's here. I'm ready.
He's like Jack Collinsworth.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting lots of sunshine. It will be breezy but mild. We'll see an afternoon high of around 59. Tonight, mainly clear skies and a light breeze with a low near 29. And tomorrow, more sunshine, again a little breezy. See a high around 65. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most. For all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Haviland. This week's specials through February 27th is whole brisket for just $4.99 per pound and $1.50 off all nuts, including Treat Bake Shop and Twin Springs pecans. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations at 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online